Hey, what's up? This is TJ here again with another Kuma style review. Today we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Hasbro Generations Fall of Cybertron Optimus Prime. We have it here in not bot mode, what am I talking about? We got it here in alt mode to start out. So just give you guys a couple of shots at different views. There's the back. Okay, the other side there, and I'm not gonna lie, I do dig the aesthetic for this alt mode, even more than the original War for Cybertron version. I'm not gonna lie, I do like the blocky, simple but not simple aesthetic to it. I dig it, can't even lie. Okay, there's the front. Alright, and back to the side. It's a pretty simple one. What you see is definitely what you get in terms of this alt mode. And it is nice. The one thing that I wish was that there was something to where the gun here was more in the center. I really like that on Fall of Cybertron Jazz, the fact that he had the peg hole for the alt mode in the center. But I mean, they can only do what they can with what they've got. At the end of the day, I'm kind of just glad that there was a peg for the gun in the first place, because these are pretty simplified. But alright, we'll go ahead and move on to the robot mode. And just like the rest of them, this is a very simple transformation. So I'll go ahead, and the arms actually peg in. They peg in the front bumper here. They also peg in on the sides. You'll see when you transform it in the first place where they peg in, but it's about right there. So you just got to make sure everything's unpegged. Alright, there's the peg hook, just so, or not the peg hook, the peg, just so you can see it. We'll unpeg the other side here. Okay, we're swinging the legs down. We're just splitting the legs up. Each leg swings down. These feet actually rotate in, so we're just going to take that whole thing, rotate it inwards. Whole thing, rotate it inwards. One thing I do like about this toy is that there aren't any too overly tight joints or anything crazy like that. It's pretty straightforward. Now these bumpers, this is probably the hardest part on the damn thing. You just take them in, rotate them in, then the shoulders fold down. Okay, and there we go. We'll do the other side now. Rotate that in, the shoulder folds down, and then you just take the arm, and you can tell because, you know, it's the hollow inside or whatever, that it needs to be turned around, and boom, there's an arm. Now, if I can remember this part correctly, the head, when you flip it down, it actually rotates the shoulders up for you. I'm going to do that one more time with the head. The head's down. Okay, so I'll hold it here. And when you take this flap, flip it back, the shoulders rotate up for you. Okay. And let's go ahead, and the waist does need to be rotated down. But overall, there you go. Like I said, pretty straightforward. What you see is what you get in this figure, and I like them. Let me get them more in focus here, and we'll go ahead and go over the robot mode. Move the camera back, give myself some space. But okay, like I said, what you see is what you get in terms of this Optimus Prime. And we'll go ahead and take a look at his articulation and things like that now. Okay, make sure he's well lit for you. And focused, man. Alright, so taking a look at his posability, we do have the head here on a ball joint. So it goes up and down, side to side, all that good stuff. The shoulders also on ball joints. He does have bicep swivel, elbows, and rotating arms. Okay, now he does have torso swivel, It's actually on a ball joint, so he can go up a little bit, things like that. So full rotation at the top of the waist. I don't really know whether this is supposed to be his abs, this is supposed to be his abs. I think this is the chest area, and these are his abs, but he rotates at the chest on a ball joint. So thighs, definitely on ball joints here. He does have thigh swivel, which is awesome. Okay, rotate, full bend at the knees, and his feet are on ball joints. I mean, really not too much you can complain about in terms of him with posability and things like that. Now, just getting him into a cool pose here. You know, having some fun, being a photographer, even though I'm not snapping pictures. Right? And there's that. Rotate the light a little bit so you guys can see him. But alright. Now, the next part is going to be his gun. Oops. Just take that, turn it around, and it pegs right into his hand. Or you can take this side, and there are pegs on the side of his arms, and they can peg in there. Or, for whatever silly reason, they decided to let his gun peg into his smokestacks. For that one person who likes doing that. Alright. So there's that. Now, since this is a sequel to a pre-existing game and figure, it's time to go ahead and compare him to the original. So let's go ahead and get War for Cybertron. They're Optimus Prime. Give me 1 second. Okay. Go ahead and put them by each other. Alright. Figure is a bit dusty, but you know. Comes with the territory. But, as you can see, I'll actually put him back so he's next to the Prime. Makes him look a little bit bigger. But he is about a head and a half shorter than the War for Cybertron Optimus Prime. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but when I think of these figures, I definitely want something, especially as a sequel, that seems like an upgrade. And sadly, the aesthetic for the War for Cybertron version looks like, I don't know, a super mode or something like that compared to the Fall of Cybertron version. And it's crazy because the Fall of Cybertron one is actually the latter. So overall, when it comes down to my opinion, definitely a passable figure. But for my War for Cybertron Autobots, I'm going to have to go with the original War for Cybertron Optimus Prime. Even though the figure's a sequel, it definitely feels like a downgrade in terms of aesthetic and everything like that. He's definitely a nice, posable, you know, solid toy on paper. But when you look at him, you know, the blocky aesthetic without much to it, it just overall, it's disappointing. I'm not going to lie. So if you have War for Cybertron Optimus Prime, I'm going to say pass, unfortunately. But if you don't, I mean, yeah, he's very game accurate and the like, but in terms of just size with rising prices, I know in my area here they went from, what, $9.99 or so to $14.99 and things like that. I understand rise of economy, inflation, things like that. It happens, but at the same time, you don't want them to downgrade like this. So that's the review for this figure. Once again, get War for Cybertron Prime off screen. That's going to be Generations, Fall of Cybertron, exclusive, Deluxe Optimus Prime. Thank you very much for watching, and enjoy. Have a great one.